Hello, friends. I know you're excited. I am too. I'm recording this literally like 40 minutes after this was posted. This is the final chapter from our wonderful friend Gantt Chart. This is Karen versus Louisianabeard, Part 5. The final battle. I don't know what you guys voted on, but I know that Gantt Chart did say that they checked the comments and stuff. So all of the things have been tallied. I don't know how this is going to end. This is my first time reading it too, so I'm just as excited as you guys. Here we go. Let's do this. Hey, Moonhorse. Hello. Possibly Sango, and the rest of the Moon Cultists. This is it. The finale. The whole enchilada. I got everybody's votes, and I hope the ending I provide will satisfy your taste. Please, enjoy. A minor recap from the last part of our story. Lewis got an Xbox to replace the one Deborah smashed. Deborah got a new flat-screen TV. Moonhorse sat in his apartment drinking a Pepsi. Deborah invited Lewis into her house and made a deal with him to work for her. She even poured Lewis a glass of wine as a gesture of good fortune. After Lewis thought about it, he came to a conclusion. He wouldn't work with Deborah. Why? Because she was a female? I'm so sorry, Moonhorse. You have nothing to be sorry about. How could Lewis expect Deborah to have rational decisions? Everyone knows that the female brain runs on pure emotion. How else can you explain girls flocking to the chads instead of a fine specimen such as Lewis? No, I cannot accept your offer. Why not? I can't trust you, Deborah. If I did join you in your business venture, how do I know you won't try to screw me over? Why would you ever think that? Deborah said in an offended tone. Deborah, think about when we tried to get your TV. You were going to drive off and abandon me at Walmart. You were going to go back on your word. Well, I never. You have, Deborah. You always have. You remember when you first moved into the neighborhood, how you screwed over the moving company, or when you tried swindling college kids out of their money, or when you attacked my mother at that charity event. Face it, Deborah, backstabber's your middle name. Kind of like how virgin your middle name? You take that back. And why should I? What woman in their right mind or wrong mind is ever going to want to marry you? Jesus Christ, you're 27, you live with your mama. You have no job, you have no drive, you have no future. If I was married to you, I'd have poisoned your Mountain Dew. If I was married to you, I would have drank it. And then the whole world to breathe a sigh of relief that the creepy incel is dead. Lewis immediately unholstered the katana that he brought with him. He raised the blade, ready to bring it down on Deborah's TV. Don't you even think about it. You destroy my TV and I'll call the cops. And then I'll get out of jail at some point and plan my revenge against you. And then you try to get your revenge, then I get mine back at you. You don't seem to get it, Deborah. As long as we're neighbors, we'll always be enemies, plotting to destroy one another. It will never end. And what the hell do you think we're going to do about it? Lewis paused. He thought long and hard about this. His weeaboo mind came up with an idea. A battle. To the death. What? You and I meet in a secluded location. And then we battle. The winner lives, goes about their life, unimpeded by the loser, who'll be 6 feet under. Deborah thought carefully about this. To be rid of this neckbeard once and for all sounded too good to be true. There's an area in southeastern Louisiana I go duck hunting in. Deep in the woods near Bayou. It's pretty far from town, secluded. Yeah, that'll work. We'll meet at high noon, and then we'll finish this once and for all. All right, then. I'll see you there, Lewis. I'll bring my best katana. I'll even bring a sword for you if you're up to the challenge. Oh, Lord. It was a foggy day in the wetlands of Louisiana. The clouds hung low, covering the sky in a dense sheet of white. The trees were missing most of their leaves, leaving behind gnarled branches that twisted like frail hands at the ends. Louis pulled into a parking lot and proceeded to text Deborah. "Are you here?" His phone went off almost immediately. "Yes, there's a clearing in the woods. One of the trees will have an orange ribbon tied to the trunk. Just keep heading north along the trail, can't miss it. Do our little battle there, then." And so, with a location set, Louis decided to take stock of his battle supplies. 2 katanas, one for him and one for Deborah. A compass so he could find this clearing. Bluetooth speaker for his phone. He can play his anime music as they duel. The question is, what music should he use? Does he use Decisive Battle from Evangelion? How about Complex from Parasite? Actually, let's use some Dragon Ball Z battle music. But there's so many good ones. Ugh, I'll decide when I get there, Louis thought. And so, Louis headed into the forest, with nothing but the sound of crunching leaves echoing in the distance. "Damn it," Louis panted. "I understand you want to be far away from civilization, but I've been hiking for 3 miles. How am I not there yet?" Louis saw the clearing, third one he'd seen, but this one was different, slightly bigger than the others, tall, thick grass bordering the small bayou. Along with that, this clearing had one tree with an orange ribbon tied to it. Yes, this was it. I've not a minute to spare. He laid his speaker and his katanas on the ground. "All right, Deborah, I'm here." Louis heard nothing but the soft wind in the distance. "What, are you too afraid to fight me? Afraid of my superior male strength will decimate you?" No response. "Listen to me, Deborah. Even if you weren't a female, I'd still destroy you. Most enemies can't handle my raw strength. The only reason that bastard unicorn defeated me was because of his magical abilities. Without magic, I would have pulverized him and sent him crying to Princess Luna." "What do you think you can do? At least prove to me you're not weak and a coward. Where are you?" Louis scanned the environment, looking for any sign of Deborah. Off in the distance, he could see a blotch of orange up in the trees. Louis focused his eyes a bit further and saw the blotch of orange was a person sitting in a stand. It was Deborah, with a hunting rifle. "Oh, shit!" The roar of the gun could be heard echoing in the distance. "Ah, damn it, I missed," she thought. She proceeded to reload her rifle with as many bullets as her weapon could hold, and stuffed more rounds into her pockets. She quickly scrambled down the deer stand and proceeded to chase after Louis. "Shouldn't be too challenging," she thought. "Fat slug like him won't get far." Louis began running through the woods. This was not part of the agreement. He planned to fight Deborah with a katana, but she brought a gun? Another gunshot rang out. One of the trees in front of him showered Louis in a rain of shattered tree bark. "Hey, little piggy!" Louis just kept running and running. He didn't care where he was going, just as long as it was far away from Deborah as possible. He began running through a field of grass, hoping it would provide him with cover. As he ran, he felt the ground get softer, moist. He found himself running in a bog, his feet splashing against the cold water. Another gunshot. The splashing was giving away his location. Louis found himself wading hip-deep in Louisiana swamp water, further reducing his mobility. It was cold, stabbing Louis all over his body, but he couldn't think of that now. Another gunshot. This time the bullet splashed in the water just 4 feet in front of him. This was bad. What could he do? He quickly found a cliff with grass dangling over it. He proceeded to make his way underneath the grassy ledge, stifling his breathing as best he could. He then heard the footsteps running towards the bog, and as soon as the footsteps slowed to a walk. "I know you're here, fatso. You couldn't have gone too far. Bog like this guarantees that." Ever so carefully, the footsteps came closer and closer. "You think you're the only one who can talk shit? Well, guess what? You're on my turf now. The bog, deer stand, everything you think you're so clever with your bot accounts. Well, guess what? I planned everything out for this. I was clever. I set the location like this, far away from anyone. Plenty of swamps out here, convenient for hiding a body. And when you think about it, it's probably the best thing for you. For you to die here instead of underneath a highway overpass. Face it, it's the end of the line, fatso." Footsteps got closer, closer. Now Louis could see Deborah's reflection against the water, but he was hidden pretty well. How long could that last, though? Every second was a step closer that Deborah took. Louis realized he had to do something. He slowly pulled out his katana. Deborah stepped closer and closer to the ledge, until finally she was standing on top of it. This was going to be difficult, but it was better than dying. He waited until he saw the reflection in the perfect position. With one fast motion, Lewis swung his katana as hard as he could, hoping it would make its mark. Another gunshot. The katana didn't hit Deborah, but it knocked the hunting rifle out of her hands. The gun flew through the air before falling into the deep water. Lewis made his way to shore as fast as he could. Now it was his turn to have the upper hand. Deborah, realizing she was unarmed, began running away from Lewis. Lewis gave chase, chasing Deborah through the woods, flailing his sword in the air as he did. "Don't run from me, you fat cow!" he screamed. "Fight me like a samurai!" Lewis soon got to the same clearing he and Deborah originally agreed to fight. He was panting heavily. Now where'd she gone? He noticed the second katana he brought with him was also gone. This was not good. Deborah could be anywhere to pull a sneak attack on him. Then he came up with an idea to lure her out. Deborah hid in the grass, crouching low with the katana at hand. She had never used a weapon like this before. That puts her at a disadvantage. If only she still had her gun. She decided she was going to hide and wait for this Nimrod to come to her. "Deborah!" she heard Lewis yell. He was not far away. Still had an opportunity to be rid of that bastard once and for all. "Deborah!" She heard the cry over and over as she crept slowly through the grass, daring not to make a sound. She took off her orange vest and hat, as to not give herself away. Over and over she heard that same cry, but there was something off. The sound wasn't moving. Soon Deborah found herself in the middle of the clearing, with a Bluetooth speaker in the center. The sound was coming from the speaker. What the... It was at that moment that Lewis came charging at Deborah at full speed. Without a second to spare, she held her katana to block the strike. She trembled, holding the weapon awkwardly in both of her hands. Soon Lewis and Deborah were in an intense sword duel, blades clanking against one another, Deborah awkwardly deflecting each blade as Lewis smacked her katana with his self-righteous fury. Deborah did everything she could to block his blows, but when this neckbeard said he trained with a katana, he wasn't kidding. She had to do something. Quickly she lunged to the left and swung the blade towards Lewis's midsection. Like a ninja, Lewis blocked in time. "Come on then! Don't tell me that's all you've got, you foid!" With each clang of the blades, Deborah was losing stamina. She couldn't keep this up for very long. She needed a better plan. She would need to retreat. She fell back towards the tree line. Lewis followed her and started to battle Deborah near a bush. With a loud clang, Deborah held back the blade with her katana. Lewis pushed down Deborah's katana ever so slowly until she inadvertently avenged Moonhorse. She crouched and then kicked Lewis in the nuts. Then she shoved him into the bush and proceeded to run out of there. Lewis chased after her, but soon he was losing her. "Get back here, you foid!" Lewis screamed while panting, but soon she was gone. When he went back to the place where he parked his car, Deborah's minivan had left. Figured this coward would try to run from him. So he figured he'd get into his car. But now he's left with a quandary. What is Lewis gonna do now that she's left the battle? Where would they battle again? Was Lewis going to have to watch his back for the rest of his life? He got his answer when he pulled into his place and saw a police car parked out on the street. "What's this?" Lewis thought. He entered his home and saw two police officers, his mother and Deborah, all sitting in the living room. "Sit down, Lewis," his mother said coldly. Deborah was crying a storm of fake tears, trying to elicit sympathy from everyone involved. "I swear, officers, I was just hunting in the woods in my deer stand, and this fat bastard came charging at me with a katana." "That is bullshit. This foid and I agreed to a battle. Don't you dare try to turn this on me," Lewis screamed. "That man's a danger to society. He should be locked up forever. What if he hurts my little Timmy?" "All right, everybody shut up. One at a time," one of the officers cried out. "Lewis, what's your story in all this?" "This lady and I agreed to a duel in the woods, and she ran off like a bitch." "That is not true." "I said shut up!" "How can you believe this man? I was in my deer stand hunting for ducks, and this asshole tried to kill me in my deer stand." "If that's true, then why didn't you try to shoot me?" "Well, my gun wasn't ready yet." "You and I both know we were there to battle to the death. We both agreed to this." "You got any proof of this, son?" the officer asked. Lewis thought about it, and then he realized he did. He pulled out his cell phone and showed the text exchange that he and Deborah had between each other. That's not my number." "Oh, really?" the officer said while dialing the number listed in Lewis's phone. Soon a cell phone ringtone came from Deborah's pocket. "That's not mine." "So you stole it?" "Yes. No. Look, whatever answer means I don't go to jail." "Ma'am," the other officer called out, "I'm going to have to ask you to come with me." "I'm not going anywhere with you." "We can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way," the officer said while holding out a taser. Oh no, Deborah thought. Flashbacks involving those. All those freakouts at Walmarts. She couldn't risk it. She wouldn't. She immediately bolted for the door. But before she could leave, she was doing the electric slide all across the floor. Deborah was soon put in handcuffs. Then the second officer pulled out a pair for Lewis. "Wait, what are you doing?" "Sir, you're under arrest." "You can't arrest me. She and I were having a duel." "To the death. You realize this is the United States, and that's illegal, right?" But our founding fathers held duels like this all the time. Think of Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr." "That was the early 1800s. Laws have been put into place to ensure that duels like these are illegal. They're considered attempted first-degree murder by the law." "But I wouldn't speak anymore if I was you. After all, you've got the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law." And so, Deborah and Lewis spent the night in county jail. Lewis had no money for bail, so he was forced to stay in the cell. Deborah, however, was able to get bail, but because of what happened, she lost custody over Timmy. Now he's going back to his father, meaning Deborah lost her precious child support money. Soon the two had a court trial where the actions of an illegal duel were discussed. Since Lewis technically pleaded guilty, the court was slightly more lenient to him than they were to Deborah. Lewis, realizing in a rare moment of clairvoyance, decided not to fight the charge and accept his punishment. And for his punishment, he got 10 years. As for Deborah, she tried to fight the charge, and when it was clear that that wasn't going to work, she tried to bribe the judge to find her innocent. Judge pocketed the money, but she still got a guilty verdict. Deborah tried to argue her case, tried fighting the accusations, then the judge, then the jury, then everyone in the courtroom. It went about as well as you'd expect. For attempted first-degree murder, government bribery, and assault of a police officer, Deborah was sentenced to 50 years in prison. No chance for parole. Timmy, now free from his mother's control, was left to his father. He developed a few incel tendencies thanks to Lewis. However, Lewis's mother, not wanting history to repeat itself, helped Timmy's dad put an end to that very quickly. By his teen years, he had joined a few clubs, found a small but close-knit group of friends through his high school years. He even had a girlfriend in junior year, proving once and for all that it is not genetics, but behavior that creates an incel. Lewis's mother continued to work at the church for charity events. Emboldened by Deborah's terrible behavior, Lewis's mom decided that the world had darkness within it, so she was going to be extra nice, an extra bright beacon of hope to the people around her. But she quickly knocked down any attempts strangers made to take advantage of her. She was not going to let the same mistake happen again. Moonhorse and Sango got married. Yay! They never had kids, but Moonhorse did open up his own sports bar. The Saints Rule Falcons Drool Bar is popular hangout in Louisiana. I wish. Especially with their specialty cocktail, Happy Pepsi. He even hired the heroin addict from Chapter 3, showing that any drug addict can put their lives back together with enough elbow grease. And that is the end of the story, when a needy neckbeard collides with a selfish Karen. Like two bullets colliding, it's a force of sheer magnitude, a destructive nuclear explosion that obliterates everything at its epicenter. And the story serves a lesson that all Reddit followers know all too well. Don't get too close to the Karens, and don't get too close to the neckbeards. Don't approach either at the same time. For results may vary, but you have nothing to gain and everything to lose to see those results. Author's note, I hope this ending satisfies you guys. I rewrote it a few times, but I want to be just perfect, and I hope I achieved that result. Also, if you're curious about the voting results, here's a pie chart to give you an idea. I'll make sure to put that pie chart in the video so you guys can see what we're looking at. One person voted for A, 11 voted for C, 9 voted for D. Which, to those of you who value your sanity, let's just say we avoided DEFCON 1 by a very slim margin. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. That was one hell of a ride, dude. Wow. I don't have words. That was just super good. Thank you so very much for this. And I'm kind of surprised that you guys that you guys went for both of them go to jail. I was really expecting complete horror because I love you all, but I also know what you're all capable of. That's why I love you. But that was a fantastic story, and thank you so much, Gantt Chart, for doing this. I love it. I love it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did, as much as Gantt Chart did writing it, as much as everybody did. This is a fantastic tale. So thank you all so very much for being here. If you have your own story and you would like me to read it, or at least look at it, send it to my subreddit, r/Moonhorse Stories. I check it every day, so I will see it there. I have a Ko-Fi, and I have a merch store, and you can check those out. I'm hopefully going to be adding new stuff to the merch store soon. I haven't decided exactly on what, but I'm trying. Believe me, I know some of you have asked for a Happy Pepsi t-shirt, and I would love to, except I don't own Pepsi, so I totally can't get away with that. So, there's a live stream every Saturday. Almost forgot about that. That's the other thing. And that should be it. I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you all so very much. Goodbye, everybody.